Welcome to episode 4. I'm Gabriel.
And I'm Spolenia.
Okay, I want you to imagine something for a minute. Picture you're a procurement officer at a mid-sized manufacturing plant.
You make industrial piping, maybe plastic packaging, something like that.
Exactly. And you're at your desk, the coffee's gone cold, and you have a huge problem. You need material.
And not just a little. You need, say, 500 metric tons of high-density polyethylene.
500 tons of HDPE. You go online, you find a supplier halfway across the world, maybe in the Gulf.
Mm-hmm.
They say they have the perfect stock, perfect price. You see the invoice. It's hundreds of thousands of dollars. You have to wire that money, and then you just have to wait.
And that wait is it's brutal because in the global polymer trade, especially with off-grade stuff, there's this very real fear that when that container finally shows up,
It's not what you bought.
it's not what you bought. We've all heard the horror stories. You order clear PT flakes and you open the container and it's just garbage. Or worse, rocks and sand to make the weight.
It happens. And that friction, that sort of knot in your stomach, is what we're really digging into today. We're looking at a company that is trying to engineer that fear right out of the industry.
We are talking about Polymer in Stock. That's polymerinstock.com. And yes, it's a digital marketplace, but what we're really analyzing is a mechanism for radical transparency in an industry that has kind of thrived on secrets.
So we're going to look at the founder, Sumer Bandukta, and his just wild background. We're going to look at how this platform is becoming a huge export engine for Saudi Arabia. But really, the core mission today is to figure out how you build credibility in a Wild West market.
And it is Wild West. But before the platform, we have to talk about Sumer. Because his history, this is not your typical tech founder story. He didn't just, write an app in a dorm room.
No, he definitely did not. He was in the trenches. And I mean that literally. He was operating in Kabul, Afghanistan, back in the late 2000s.
Right. This is the part of his background that really stands out. He's a business development executive, but look at what he actually did in 2009.
The escalator.
The escalator. He was in charge of sourcing and installing an escalator in the Masjid Mall in Kabul.
Okay, just stop and think about the logistics of that for a second. It's 2009. The geopolitical situation is, let's say, complicated.
Very complicated. There's no Amazon Prime for industrial machinery. You're moving heavy, complex equipment into a landlocked conflict zone.
If a single part breaks, you can't just run down to the hardware store.
Exactly. That's not just a construction project. It's a masterclass in extreme logistics. If you can solve that problem, getting a container of plastic from Sharjah to Shanghai seems, well, a lot more manageable.
And it didn't stop there. The Vital energy drink story. This one is amazing. He sees a gap in the Kabul market for an energy drink.
And instead of just importing something, he decides to make his own.
In 5 months.
That's a timeline that's so impressive. He goes to a food show, finds a flavor partner Doler, a big German company, sources the bottling, brands it, and launches a Red Bull competitor in under half a year.
That is just pure hustle. It's that ability to see a gap and just close it.
And that really is the DNA of Polymer in Stock. It's about moving physical stuff across difficult borders. But the real pivot came in 2011. He moves to the UAE and starts Al Bayt Al Akhdar, which means green plastics.
And again, not glamorous. This was a recycling facility.
Super gritty. He started with a 40 metric ton capacity, had 25 blue-collar staff. He was importing grinders from China. This is the factory floor education. He wasn't just trading contracts.
He was dealing with the smell, the noise, the headache of sourcing local scrap.
Which is key, because in the scrap world, quality is so subjective. But Sumer spent years actually processing the material himself. He grew that facility from 40 tons to 300 tons.
So he intimately knows the difference between near prime and just garbage.
Precisely. He knows the pain points because he lived through them. Yeah. So when we look at Polymer in Stock today, it's not just some digital platform. It's the culmination of over a decade of that logistical experience.
Okay, so let's get into the scale of it now, because this is not a small operation anymore.
Not at all. They list over 1,000 metric tons of material every week. They've got partnerships with 32 suppliers globally, and they're exporting to over 12 countries, including the big ones: China, India, Pakistan.
I was looking through their inventory, and it is just massive. It really is like an Amazon for polymers. But help me understand what we're looking at. It's not all the same stuff, right?
No, it's the full spectrum. You have your virgin material. That's the brand new, perfect stuff from giants like Sabic or Barouge.
That's for your food-grade packaging, high-spec application.
Exactly. But then you see terms like off-grade and near prime.
Right. Why would a buyer want that?
It's all about cost and application.
Yeah.
If you're making, say, plastic dustpans or construction buckets, you don't need that expensive, perfect virgin plastic. Near prime might just have a slight color variance. Off-grade could have a different melt flow.
So it's the bargain bin, but for industrial scale manufacturing.
It's supposed to be. But that's also where the danger is. That's where the scams happen. An unethical trader can hide absolute trash under the off-grade label.
Which brings us to what you called the architecture of trust. This is what I really want to unpack. Anyone can build a website. How does Polymer in Stock prove they are credible?
They do something that is honestly shocking in this part of the industry. They offer a 100% money-back guarantee.
Okay, hold on. A 100% guarantee on off-grade plastic. That sounds like financial suicide. What stops me as a buyer from just claiming it's bad and getting my money back?
That is the key question. And the answer is their own quality control. You can only offer a guarantee like that if you are absolutely 100% certain of what you are shipping out.
So they're betting on their own inspection process.
They have to. Their policy is explicit. If it fails to meet the agreed specs, they take full responsibility. For a buyer sitting thousands of miles away, that just removes the risk. It shifts the entire burden from the buyer back onto the platform.
I also saw this virtual inspection feature, which I thought was really smart.
It's a modern solution to an old problem. Traditionally, you'd have to fly an inspector out to watch the container loading. That's thousands of dollars.
Just to watch guys throw bags into a box.
Right. So now they do it over a video call. You, the buyer, can sit in your office in London and watch your specific material with your markings being loaded in real time in a warehouse in the UAE.
It just bridges that physical trust gap. You know exactly what's on the way.
And it creates a digital record. It's much harder to cheat when there's video evidence.
Another thing was their fee structure. They're very open about it. A flat 5% transaction fee.
And that's another huge trust signal. Most traders work on hidden margins. They buy low, sell high, and you never know if they're making 2% or 20%.
Right. They just give you a final price.
Exactly. Polymer in Stock says, no, what we buy for is what you pay. They show you the cost.
Yeah.
And their 5% fee covers everything. The QC, shipping, banking, after sales.
It makes them feel more like a service provider than a traditional trader.
It makes them a partner. They aren't trying to squeeze you on price. They're facilitating the deal.
Let's zoom out to the region. Why is this platform so important for a place like Saudi Arabia?
Well, this is where it gets really strategic. Saudi Arabia is a titan in the polymer world. You have Sabic, one of the biggest chemical companies on the planet. The kingdom produces a massive amount of raw material.
But can't a giant like Sabic just sell its own product easily?
Sabic can, but think about all the downstream manufacturers, the local distributors, the guys who end up with the off-grade stock in Jubail or Riyadh. For them to find a specific buyer in a specific town in Pakistan who need their exact grade of plastic, that's hard.
It's a global matchmaking problem.
It is. And Polymer in Stock acts as that bridge. It's the logistics engine. They list those specific KSA products and handle the entire export process.
So if I'm a Saudi manufacturer, this platform is basically my outsourced export department.
And if you're a global buyer, it's your secure gateway into the Saudi market. It smooths out all the friction.
Okay, I want to be really clear for our listeners. Who is this for? Who should be going to this website right now?
If you are a procurement manager at any major manufacturing company, if you're making pipes, films, bottles, car parts, anything, this is for you. Or if you're a global trader, just tired of the risk and inconsistency.
So we're talking about people moving serious volume.
Absolutely. If you need a transparent, guaranteed supply chain for polymers, you have to visit polymerinstock.com. With over 1,000 tons moving every week, this is where the credible players operate. It's a secure gateway for large-scale transactions.
And it's not just virgin plastic, right? There's a big sustainability angle here, too.
A huge one. They have PT flakes, HDPE, regrind.
Hmm.
Sourcing reliable recycled material is a nightmare for companies trying to meet sustainability goals. This platform helps standardize that and makes it accessible.
I'm going to tie this back to the bigger picture of the region. We often talk about Arabia 2030. How does a polymer trading platform fit into that grand vision?
It fits perfectly. Because Arabia 2030 isn't just about building futuristic cities, it's about modernizing the deep infrastructure of commerce.
It's about upgrading the whole economic operating system.
Precisely. Polymer in Stock is a prime example of how Arabia 2030.co introduces these high-impact industrial solutions. It takes a trade that was done on handshakes and WhatsApp messages and moves it into a transparent, digital, trustworthy ecosystem.
So it's basically digitizing that hustle we talked about earlier.
That's a great way to put it. It shows that the future of trade in the region is about building these efficient, transparent platforms that the rest of the world can plug into and trust.
It's amazing, really, to see the direct line. The guy who figured out how to get an escalator into Kabul is now figuring out how to get Saudi polymers to the world with zero friction.
It proves that you can't just disrupt an industry from the outside. You have to understand the ground game. Sumar put in the years, he took the risks, and now he's built the solution the industry actually needs.
So the thought I want to leave everyone with is this. In a world of constant supply chain disruptions, the companies that will win aren't just the ones with the best product.
It's the ones with the most transparent data.
It's the ones with the most trust. It's knowing that when you send that money, what you ordered is actually going to show up. In a low-trust world, credibility becomes the ultimate currency. Polymer in Stock is basically productizing trust.
And that is a very, very valuable business to be in.
For consultancy or to join this trade ecosystem, visit arabia2030.co or email contact@arabia2030.co.
For consultancy or to join this trade ecosystem, visit arabia2030.co or email contact@arabia2030.co.